Good morning, students. In yesterday's class, we discussed about hydrogen spectrum and even we solved some numericals related to the calculation of wave number or wavelength related to Rydberg's equation. As well as at the end of the class, we discussed about number of spectral lines calculation also. Okay? I think we solved one or two numericals also based on that concept. Yesterday I gave one formula to calculate number of spectral lines for an electronic transition. Okay? When electron is jumping from any higher level to lower level, the number of spectral lines obtained. Yesterday I gave you one formula, that is n2 minus n1 into n2 minus n1 plus 1 divided by 2. This is the formula given to you yesterday to calculate number of spectral lines for an electronic transition. If the electron is jumping from any orbit to the first orbit, then directly the above formula we can also write as n into n minus 1 by 2. Okay? There we solved one or two numericals based on both the formula. Now, additional to that, one more small concept is there. That is, if they ask you to calculate number of spectral lines in a series, any series it is, when they ask you to calculate number of spectral lines in a series, okay, we have formula to calculate total number of spectral lines. Now our discussion is about number of spectral lines in a series. Now the formula is n2 minus n1. Okay, remember the formula to calculate the number of spectral lines in a particular series. The formula is n2 minus n1. Okay, n2 means higher energy level, n1 means lower energy level. Okay, got it? Now, so we completely discussed about Planck's quantum theory, photoelectric effect as well as hydrogen spectrum. Now, we are going to discuss the main topic of atomic structure, that is Bohr's atomic model. Okay, till now we discussed about J.J. Thomson's atomic model, and even before that Dalton atomic theory. Then we went for Rutherford's atomic model also. After Rutherford's atomic model, because in the Rutherford's atomic model we have one drawback. What is the main drawback of Rutherford's model? It is Rutherford's theory is failed to explain the stability of the atom, right? We discussed all the concept, everything related to that concept. Now, we are going to discuss about Bohr's atomic model, which overcome the drawback of Rutherford's model. Okay? Means, Bohr clearly explained about the stability of the atom. Okay? The drawback of Rutherford's model is he failed to explain stability of the atom. Now Niels Bohr successfully explained the stability of the atom. Okay? How he explained, what are the main postulates of this model, now we are going to discuss. Okay? Now keep the heading as Bohr's atomic model. A very important atomic model when compared to the remaining atomic models. This Bohr's atomic model was given by, from the name it is clear, in the name only it is there. It is a Bohr's atomic model. So this theory, this atomic model was given by Niels Bohr. Okay, the name of the scientist who given this atomic model is Niels Bohr. Now, let us discuss about the main postulates of Bohr's atomic model. The main postulates of Bohr's atomic model. I think you have idea about some of the postulates of Bohr's atomic model. Now we will discuss about all the main postulates given by Bohr's atomic model. Now coming to the first postulate of Bohr's atomic model, we know in the starting only I told you this model was given to explain mainly to overcome the drawback of Rutherford's atomic model. Let us discuss this. Here the main drawback what we discussed there, how he failed to explain Rutherford, because when the electron is continuously moving around the nucleus, according to classical mechanical theory, every charged body radiates or releases energy. So after some number of revolutions, the energy of electron will become zero. So atom will be collapsed. Okay. Now that drawback was successfully overcome by Bohr's atomic model. Okay. Here he introduced the concept of stationary energy levels. Okay. What is that? Let us see. According to him, electron revolves around the nucleus Okay, we know that electron revolves around the nucleus in circular paths. Electron revolves around the nucleus in circular paths of constant or fixed, anything, constant radius and energy. So this is the main point or main postulates given by Bohr to overcome the drawback. How he overcome the drawback? See, according to him, what he given? Around the nucleus, the electron revolves in circular paths. That is already given by Rutherford also. Here, what he is saying is about these energy levels. He said their energy remains constant. Okay? The energy of the each circular path is constant. Okay? So when the electron is revolving in a particular orbit, then energy of the electron is also remains constant. Okay? So during the revolution, it don't lose the energy. It don't absorb as well as it don't lose the energy. So due to which the atom is stable. Understood? Okay? And even these circular paths are known as we know these are known as energy levels, are also called as orbits. This is most commonly used one. Okay? These circular paths are also called as energy levels or orbits. Even particularly we can say these are stationary orbits. Okay, these orbits are also called as stationary orbits. Why they are using this word stationary orbit? Means the energy of the orbit is constant, is a fixed value. Even these orbits are also known as shells. Okay? So whatever the circular paths around the nucleus is there, means where the electron is revolving around the nucleus, those circular paths are called as energy levels or orbits, are nothing but stationary orbits. Even those are also called as shells. Okay? Now coming to the representation, these orbits are represented with, generally we use the numbers like first shell, second shell, third shell, fourth shell, like that. Or even this also be represented with the capital letter K, L, M, N, so on. Okay? Nothing but the circular path or the orbit which is very close to the nucleus, nothing but we say it is a first orbit. So these can be represented with the numbers 1, this is second orbit, this is third orbit, the next will be fourth orbit, fifth orbit, so on up to infinity. Okay? Even these are also can be represented with the letters K shell. We know generally we use to write the electronic configuration, we say K shell, L shell, M shell, the next is N shell, so on. Okay? So this is the main important postulate of Bohr's model, the basic statement related to this Bohr's atomic model. Okay? Once again look at this one. According to this theory, the electron revolves around the nucleus in a circular orbits or circular paths whose energy, even the radius also remains constant. Okay? When the electron is revolving in a particular orbit, the energy of the electron is fixed, constant. Okay? I will write that point also clearly. Now, coming to the name of these circular paths, these can are named as stationary orbits or energy levels, are also known as shells. Okay? Now coming to the representation, they can be represented with the numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, like that till so on. Or they can also be represented with the alphabetical letters in capital letters. K shell, L shell, M shell, N shell, like that. Okay? Now if they ask which shell is closest to the nucleus, the shell which is closest to the nucleus is K shell. Okay? So note down this point. Then we will discuss about the next point. Now coming to the second point, as I already told you, the energy of electron in a particular orbit is constant. Let us write that point in the notes. Electron present in an orbit, any orbit, whether it may be first orbit or second orbit, when it is present in any orbit or when it is present in a particular orbit, its energy remains constant. So means energy of the electron remains constant when it is present in a particular orbit. What it means? The electron does not gain or releases the energy when it is present in a particular orbit. Got it? That is why these orbits are known as stationary orbits or energy levels we are saying. So stationary energy levels. Okay, means the energy of this electron in a particular orbit is quantized, is a fixed value. Got it? We will discuss how to calculate everything. Remember this point. Electron present in an orbit, its energy remains constant because electron does not gain or release energy in the orbit. Okay? So when the electron's energy remains the same, so it never becomes zero. So that is why atom does not collapse. Atoms are always stable. Okay? this is one of the important point we need to remember, that which already we discussed. But we know electrons will jump from one orbit to the other orbit, because even in yesterday's spectrum concept also we discussed that by gaining energy electron jumps to higher level, while it is coming from higher to lower level it releases energy. Okay, so let us write that point. The electron absorbs or it may releases the energy. In the above statement we written that it don't gain energy, it don't release energy when it is present in the orbit. Now what we are saying, the electron absorbs, even it releases energy. When it will do that one means when it jumps from one orbit to other. Okay, and why I am particularly writing these points on the board, because I know it is time consuming thing, but still why I am writing is notes is very important to you. Okay, because now while we are listening the class it will be easy to understand these points. Some people may think that we already know those points. Okay, but right now immediately you don't have examination. You are going to write examination in 2022. Correct or not? So 2 years time is there nearly. Right? So after 2 years, can we remember all these points? It is impossible. Maybe we may remember 1 week, or maximum talented people means 1 month. Definitely after that, as a human being, we will forget. Okay, that is why notes is very, very important. Whenever you get doubt or before the examination, it will be easy to recollect all the concepts during the revision time. Okay, now write the notes clearly, because in the revision time, whatever the doubts you have, will clarify those. Okay. Now what is written here? In the above statement, when it is present in that particular orbit, it don't gain the energy, it don't releases energy. Energy of electron remains the same in that particular orbit. Okay? But when it gains energy, when it is jumping from lower orbit to the higher orbit. Okay? While it is coming from higher to lower, it releases energy. That is what we written here. Okay? Electron absorbs or releases energy when it jumps from one orbit to the other orbit. Okay? Got it? Now, one more point what Bohr is given is, he given a formula to calculate angular momentum of the electron. You have idea about momentum in physics. Now note down the statement. According to him, the angular momentum of electron okay, here he given as one statement, even it became later a drawback for him. Why it is drawback, everything we will discuss at the end of the theory. Now first, note down, the angular momentum of electron is integral multiple of h by 2 pi. H divided by 2 pi. This is also one of the important statements. That is why I kept a star mark. Okay? The angular momentum of an electron while it is revolving around the nucleus, the angular momentum is integral multiple. Integral multiple in the sense it may be multiple of 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers. Okay? Here, mathematically I will give you in the formula wise. Angular momentum nothing but what? Mass into, normally momentum's case we say mass into velocity. Here angular momentum case, one more term we will include, that is radius of the orbit. Okay, mvr is equals to n into h by 2 pi. So remember this formula. Angular momentum of electron given by Bohr is mvr is equals to n into h by 2 pi or nh by 2 pi. Where what is n? I told you, na, integral multiple, where n is nothing but orbit number. Orbit number means either if it is in the first orbit, we say 1 into h by 2 pi. If it is in the second orbit, n value is 2. Third orbit means n value 3. Okay. I will give the each and every time about the formula, term about the formula clearly. Okay. First note down the formula. Then we will discuss about each and every term in the formula. Now what is the formula we got for angular momentum? mvr is equals to nh by 2 pi. Now coming to the terms in this formula, where m is nothing but mass of electron. Okay, m is the mass of electron. We know the mass of electron. How much it is? Remembered all those values whatever we discussed in the starting classes? If not, once look at the starting page of the lesson. I given this mass of the electron value 9.108 into 10 to the power minus 30. Now, where V nothing but velocity of electron. Okay, m is mass of electron, V is velocity of electron, where r is, I told you, it is radius of the orbit. Don't think it is radius of electron, where r is nothing but radius of the orbit. H, we know it is a Planck's constant. H is Planck's constant. What is the value of Planck's constant? 6.626 into 10 to the power minus 34 joules. Okay, we know we solved many numericals related to Planck's constant we used. Now what is the other term here? N. N represents orbit number. When the electron is present in first orbit, N value will be how much? 1. If it is in the second orbit, its value 2. Third orbit 3. Fourth orbit 4. If it is infinity, infinity. Okay? So these are the terms related to angular momentum of the electron. Okay? Now moving to next postulate. See, it is also very important one. As while defining in this first statement of Bohr's theory, I gave you one statement. The electron revolves in a circular path of fixed energy as well as a radius. Okay. Now Bohr given a derivation not needed for us. For competitive exam or any type of examination, we don't need the derivation of all the formula. We need to remember the formula. That is our main thing. Because competitive exam point of view, they will ask numerical related to the formula. Okay? Now, here the subheading is radius of nth orbit. So in this lesson we will get related to this Bohr's theory, we will get mainly two concepts. That is radius of the orbit, one formula we will get, as well as he explained about calculation of energy also. So related to energy, one more formula. Okay. Now, radius of nth orbit. Here, how can we get the radius of nth orbit? In the previous case, we have seen MVR is equals to NH by 2 pi. Correct or not? So from that, we can derive all those. But I told you, derivation of these formulas are not needed. Just simply note down the value. The radius of nth orbit formula is 0.529 into n square by z, and the units of radius is angstroms. This is the main formula we are going to use to solve the numericals. Okay? It is how much? 0.529 into n square by z, where n means what? Orbit number, where z means, z we know, atomic number. Okay? For example, when we go for hydrogen atom means atomic number is 1. So z value 1. So the above formula for hydrogen atom will become what? 0.529 into n square. Okay? Understood? So units of this is angstroms. Because the above formula we can write in terms of nanometers also. For example, in terms of nanometer, radius of nth orbit will be equals to 0.0529 into n square. This is in terms of nanometer. Okay? Because 1 nanometer is equals to 10 angstroms. So that is why this is the formula in terms of angstroms. This is in terms of nanometer. Okay. For example, in the examination, they may ask you to calculate radius in terms of centimeter or in terms of meters also. What we have to do? That many formula you are going to by heart or what? It is highly impossible. That is in the starting classes, I given all the conversions. 1 angstrom nothing but how many meters? 10 to the power minus 10 meters. Now, nanometers means 10 to the power minus 9 meters. Okay? So, use any one formula to solve the questions. Depending on the question or depending on the options, whatever they ask, if the options are given in centimeter, convert these angstroms into centimeters. If the options are given in meters, then convert them into meters. Got it? Before copying all these, remember one thing, from where we got this 0.529. Because after derivation, Bohr given a formula to calculate radius of nth orbit. The formula given by him is n square h square by 4 pi square mz e square. Okay, actual formula given by Niels Bohr is this is the formula to calculate radius. Okay, where if you observe there, where h is constant, h means Planck's constant, mass of electron, where E nothing but charge of electron. Okay, h means Planck's constant, m is mass of electron, E charge of electron. By substituting all these 4 pi square everything, when you substitute, we are going to get 0.529. Okay, if you want to cross check, you can cross check in the free time. Now it is waste of time to substitute all these things and to derive. Okay, so directly that is why which formula we are going to use to solve numerical means this is the formula. So that is why given first, because in the revision time, beside the heading, we need to remember the formula. So this is the formula. But from where we got the formula means this is the one. 100% there is no use of that formula. Okay, we are not going to use this formula to solve the questions. Okay, you no need to by heart that formula. Don't be confused by looking at it. Okay. Now, From that relation, what we can say? Radius, how it is proportional to the orbit number. From that formula it is clear. Radius n, orbit number, both are in the numerator. So simply we can say radius is directly proportional to n square. Even we can say that radius is inversely proportional to atomic number, right? From the formula it is clear that radius of the orbit is directly proportional to n square. N square means orbit number. And it is inversely proportional to Z, atomic number. Okay? Now, you copy all these formula, then I will give you simple small formula related to this one. Okay? Add formula relation. Okay. So we came to know that radius is directly proportional to orbit number. Correct or not? Because everybody knows that from this is how the structure of atom is there. So from this diagram it is very clear. When compared to first orbit, the radius of second orbit is more or not. Even when you come to the third orbit, its radius is even more. So when compared to this, fourth orbit radius is even more. So what we have understood from this, when radius, when orbit number increases, radius also increases. Understood? Upward arrow representing increases. Okay? And orbit number, when we go to fourth orbit, its radius is even bigger. An orbit number increases, radius also increases. Because in the formula just now you written, radius directly proportional to orbit number. For example, for a same orbit means what? If n is constant, means now we are going to compare one atom with the other atom. Okay? In such cases, what relationship we found? R inversely proportional to Z. Means we can say that as atomic number increases, the radius of a particular orbit decreases. Understood or not? Remember that one. Because sometimes theory questions they will ask you. The radius of hydrogen atom, the second orbit of hydrogen atom is this much. Okay? What about the radius of second orbit of lithium? Got it? Both cases, hydrogen second orbit and a lithium second orbit, both you are going to compare. Whose radius is more if they ask? Generally what we have to do, we have to substitute in the formula, we have to check to get exact value. Okay? But sometimes, mainly NEET level or statewide exams level, if you observe the options, automatically we are able to guess the answer. How can we guess? Look at it. For a particular orbit, both cases orbit number is same. Hydrogen and lithium, both are having, we are comparing second orbit only. So n value is constant. Now, whose atomic number is more? It is very clear. Lithium atomic number is 3, hydrogen atomic number is 1. When lithium atomic number is more, the radius of second orbit in lithium is less when compared to hydrogen. Okay? So that is why I gave the relation. Radius directly proportional to n square, inversely proportional to atomic number. Got it? This is also a very important thing to note. So note down clearly. Then after completing this Bohr's model, all the formula related numericals we will solve at a time. Okay. So first note down these formula clearly. Okay. Now after the radius of the orbit, our main concept is energy of the orbit. Okay. So how we given the formula, how to calculate energy of the orbit, we will discuss in the next class. Okay. Thank you.